Guys, MyGuy reviews breakdown of Batman vs Superman Easter eggs. As with all comic book movies, there are lots of throwbacks to things in their universe. There's also throwbacks to characters and things you may or may not have seen or missed out on. So I just thought, let me give you a quick breakdown. Now, the first one, I think it's quite important to kind of go with first, is the message from the future. Anyone seen the film will know Bruce Wayne falls asleep and has a dream, wakes up suddenly, but then there's this bizarre kind of message that comes in, and the character sending the message says stuff like, "You're right about him, Lois Lane is the key," and obviously that is the Flash time traveling to come back in time to send that message to him. And what's quite cool about that is if you look carefully at the character, obviously he's now in costume, but he's the same guy who appears when Wonder Woman is watching the videos and he's picking up the milk. And obviously if we look at it closely, he's basically the same guy coming back from the nightmare dystopian future that Batman saw and warning Batman about this. And kind of like there is a potential multiverse or a alternate timeline that could happen if Batman does the wrong thing, and obviously that's key with this Flash. And this could be something to do with Justice League later on. This could be something to do with the Flash movie later on. This could be something that will come in later on, but it's a lovely little Easter egg to have very early on. Another thing to see is when we see the first picture of Wonder Woman, the one that Lex Luthor's been keeping. It's a picture in the 1917 or 1914, something like that, and it's obviously a picture about World War One, and that's where the picture we see her helping the Americans fight in the First World War. And then maybe it's realised at that point there is no point saving humanity, and she walks away from it. She does mention that in the film. She goes, she gave up on the human race 100 years ago, but for some reason has now today changed their mind to help her fight against Doomsday, to help both Batman and Superman. Obviously we get a glimpse of her powerful weaponry and her lasso, her kind of like her shield, everything that she has, and how strong she is, and she does a great job in all of that, and it's really, really cool. Another kind of nice little throwback is obviously we have the Justice League members. We get our first very quick glimpse of Aquaman. Aquaman is hiding in a ship. Something happens and boom, just like that, he's gone. He is super quick. He is obviously a god amongst fish in the underwater world, and it's really cool, but it is very, very quick. You will see his face very briefly and boom, blink, and he is gone. He seems like a creature out of sorts almost, but the way it's handled and the way it all appears is very, very quick, and there isn't a lot more you can say about it though. There's loads of pictures and lots of stuff happen, but that was a nice little thing. And we actually get to see another nice little thing is we get to see Cyborg being built and actually coming to life in part of the secret files. Now, a lot of people had already guessed that Cyborg was most probably going to be part of the Justice League, and obviously we get our first glimpse of it. And people may or may not be familiar with it, but it's a father trying multiple times in an attempt to rebuild his son, but does not succeed in ways that he can kind of do it based on our technology, until he uses a motherboard piece of alien technology, and that comes from Darkseid, who's the villain we'll talk about a bit later on, and in doing so he successfully rebuilds his son and he becomes Cyborg. Now, Ray Fisher will be doing a Cyborg film later on at some point, but obviously appears in Justice League as well. So that nice little cube that you see is a motherboard from Darkseid. Now, talking about Darkseid, we go back to that dream sequence that happens later during the film, and there's this big symbol in the sand as soon as Batman's kind of standing, and that symbol symbolizes Darkseid. And he's pretty much the main villain we know from the Justice League stuff, but that's a beautiful little Easter egg to chuck into this post-apocalyptic future, maybe, where we've got these flying creatures which are associated with Darkseid as well, his minions. And also the motherboard, which we mentioned earlier, that's all on there as well. So that's a nice little thing. In the film itself, there are a lot of references to the Joker. We have a bad history with freaks dressing like clowns, so we already know Batman has had dealings with Joker. He's not in the film. He's not there. His presence is not there. He's not seen, but he has left a mark on Batman. Because even the first time he speaks to Clark about it, you can tell by his voice, he has had some impact on Batman. Obviously, the big reveal when we see the picture, we see the costume of Robin, and we see him with the bullet holes and Joker mocking him. Yeah, so another Easter egg in the film obviously is the Riddler, which is in the sequence where we've seen in the trailer as well, where Batman is in the old house and there's graffiti everywhere, and there's a big question mark there on one of the big pillars. So obviously the Riddler is there in the DC universe, in and around, but not as part of the film. There's also, if you look closely to one of the pillars, there is a smiley face as well, which is a nice little throw to the Joker. But yeah, the Riddler one is seen in the trailers as well as what we see in the film. The suit, obviously, the suit of armor, which is Robin's suit, and he has been killed with it. Then we've got the yellow spray paint on there. We've got the 2 bullet holes visibly on there. So it's possible in the Suicide Squad film, Batman appears there. Either Joker has escaped or Batman's about to put him in prison, but obviously he has killed, not just done anything, he has literally killed one of Superman's closest allies and friends in Robin. A lot of references in the film, obviously. Hello Smallville, aka Laurence Fishburne refers to him. It's a nice little throwback to the TV show anyone's seen, Smallville. Also, right at the very end of the film, they go back to Smallville. I won't give away why or what they're doing there, but they go to Smallville. References about Smallville as well. And at the very start of the film, another nice little throwback is the Mark of Zorro, one of the very first superheroes in 1919. When we go back into the original start of the film, where we find out about Batman and Superman, there's obviously the Zorro picture that their mom, dad and Bruce are coming out of, and that's a nice little throwback to that playing at the I think it was Excalibur cinema. So yeah, if you got any more Easter eggs or anything I missed out, hit me up with your comments below, subscribe for more, and yeah, keep it all tuned for Batman vs Superman right here.